Blah, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holders podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama, or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. Y si tú quieres cambiar tu vida, if you want to change your life, then subscribe. Ching. And by the way, guys, I just published a book called Shabbat in Chicago. It's out on Amazon. It's about an audacious single mom who opens her heart and home to 5 adopted kids while embracing her Latino culture while being Jewish. And today, guys, we have a very, very special guest. Probably the hardest guest I've ever had on the show. She is in real estate, a publisher, one of my good friends. Give it up for the one and only Dolly.
I just love your enthusiasm.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you. I know that we've been trying to coordinate this for quite some time and it's been so hard, but thank you.
Of course. I want to say something. So like when I wanted to, for the fans to know us, right? A little bit more behind the scene. When I wanted to publish my book, I went to Dr. Maribel Lopez, one of my also closest friends and family. She's like family to me. I said, look, I want to publish this book, but I don't know really any like publishers is there any you recommend? Because I know you publish a lot of books. She goes, I got one, but I'm going to be real with you. And I love Chicago. They're very blunt. She goes, look, if she ain't going to like your book, she ain't going to publish it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, dang. So she's like, you better make sure it's good. I'm recommending you now. I said, okay.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And so I call you, and I'm so nervous, right? It's a Sunday or Monday. I get a call. Hello. I say, oh, hey, she's here. I said, hello, Dolly. I know you don't know me. I'm a student, also a friend of Dr. Maribel Lopez. And she told me so much about you, and I have this book idea, and I want to run it by you and see if you'll be willing to make this dream come to life. Mm-hmm. And I love the words you said. You said, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very particular on who I publish.
Yes.
I want to put something out to the world that's positive, that will bring people together. I don't want a book that is negative and that could ruin your reputation and it could ruin mine. We have to, I'm very, I want something that could uplift, something beautiful. So tell me more. So I tell you the whole story, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, wow, that's amazing. You want to do this for your mom. Mm-hmm. You're like, look, I'm going to give you a quote and I want you to remember this. I said, okay, I got my pen and paper, like trying to, take notes.
Yeah.
You said friends tell you what you want to hear, but best friends tell you what you need to hear. And that was the quote that really brought us more closer. Mm-hmm. And you're like, let me read the book. I'll get back to you in 2 days and we'll go from there. I said, okay. And honestly, I think I want to thank.
I know you were nervous. You were nervous.
I was so nervous. I almost needed a shot. You know what I'm saying? I said, let me get 2 rounds of tequila right here, please. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
But that was my, first impression of you. And I'm so grateful, to have you in my life. And I want you to share too, like, what was your first impression? Any memories you can think of us together?
Yeah, because it's when did we start this? When did we start? I think it was like in August.
Yeah.
Or was it sooner?
Yeah.
Was it sooner, no?
Sooner, yeah.
Yeah. So my biggest memory was when you reached out. You reached out to me, and I could tell that you were anxious, you were nervous, but you were so sweet, and you blew me away when you told me that you wanted to do this for your mother. You also shared that your mother had written a book and that your father had torn up the pages and, destroyed her dream. And that really was a driving force for you. So for me, that really stuck with me. And then just the things that you shared about your mom, I thought that she was such a beautiful person. I told you before we even published the book that no matter what, I needed to meet her because I was really touched by the person that she is. So that's really what drove me to want to help you, because it was the love of a son for his mother. And I have 2 boys, so you brought it home. Good job, David. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. So I mean, I think, and I do appreciate you mentioning that quote, because I really live by that. I think that many people, I don't like to sugarcoat things. I'm not a brute about it either. I'm compassionate, and I speak with kindness, but I always tell the truth, and I want to make sure that I know, and I know you realize, I wouldn't be doing you any favors if I just told you, oh, this book is great, it's perfect, and there's no corrections needed. You know, I wouldn't be doing you any favors, because at the end of the day, your audience and the readers are going to criticize your book if it's not, better condition. I never say the books are perfect, but at the end of the day, it's your voice, it's your words, it's your message directed to your audience.
It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. See, I got the goosebumps. I gotta be honest too. One thing that also that stood out was the day of the surprise when you came to meet my mom, and
Mhm.
you put it in like in a birthday bag, and we came in, and I told my mom, this is Dolly, this is Mama, and we met your husband too,
Yeah.
and my mom is like, what's going on? Right? She didn't know what's going on. I
Mhm.
said, Mom, I've been waiting for a long time to give you this. And, I pulled out the book, and she sees it. I said, Dolly made this happen, and she's my publisher too. And my mom starts crying.
Yeah.
And oh, that was
I
so,
started crying. Are you
yeah.
kidding? We were all crying. No, you know what? Well, okay, so for those of you listening, the reason why it wasn't a birthday bag is because it was David's birthday. So we well, and going back, right? Going back, when you and I were having the initial conversation, I said to you, is there a specific date or event that's coming up that you would like to have this book published by? Remember?
Yep.
And when I said that, you're like, oh no, I got, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'm gonna be in Chicago for my birthday. What month was it again?
August.
It was August. Okay, so I'm gonna be in Chicago for my birthday. So then we were talking maybe around June.
Yep.
So then I said in August, and I'm like, and you already wrote the manuscript, right? And you're like, yeah, it's already written. I'm like, okay, if you do your homework, I promise to get you published for your birthday. Remember?
Yeah.
And so I had to put the book in a gift bag, or at least wrap it as a gift, so that the mother had no suspicion of what is this that I'm giving her. So I brought her flowers and the book, and that was such a magical moment. It was so beautiful, and you were the proudest son.
Yeah.
And it was so obvious, and she was all over. I mean, it was, look, you giving me all this credit for making this happen. At the end of the day, none of this would have happened if it wasn't because of you. This is the dream you had. This is the intent that you had, which was to give this beautiful gift to your mom. And I know what it is to receive a book. I've written 5 books myself, and I know that when I received my book, my first book, I was crying. It was my baby. So the fact that you received it and then gifted it to your mom, I think that was so beautiful. So kudos to you. This was about you. I just was the vehicle that helped you get there.
Oh man, you too sweet. Look, I gotta be honest, we've gotten so close, even throughout like, meeting up together, going on Zooms, having meetings. I felt like I learned more about you, you learn more about me. And I
Mm-hmm.
love too that in the bag too, you put some palomitas, you put some popcorn, because that's
Oh my
my
God,
favorite.
you have the popcorn joke on
Yeah.
the. Okay, okay. So for the audience members again, um, so David and I, we just got to know each other a little bit better, and we're constantly on the phone, and we're saying stories to each other. And I would, I would share different things that have happened, and David would share things that have happened in his life. So whenever he heard something interesting that I would share with him, he goes, wait a minute, let me get my popcorn." so so yes, of course I had to get the popcorn. I put the popcorn in the bag too. So that was my gift too. I think I had the popcorn. Did I get you wine too? I don't remember now if I had the
Yeah,
wine.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
You put the wine
okay,
too.
wine, popcorn. Well, you have to have the wine and popcorn, kind of like what was the show with Washington? You know,
Right.
so wine, popcorn, the book, the gift, the main gift, and the flowers to your mom. I was truly honored to meet your mom. I thought that she was such a beautiful woman, is such a beautiful woman, and it was truly an honor to meet her. I love it when people um, really are intentional and genuine and want to make a difference in others' lives. So that's what I go by. So that's what drives me, and I just have fun with it. So
Oh,
you
I
know.
love it. I love it. Love it. Now, Dolly, please, please, I want you to share too, like about like your background and what got you in publishing.
So my company name is Rose Gold Publishing, and I started writing back in 2014. And the reason why I started doing this is I believe everyone has a story. So like my motto with my company is let your voice be heard. Write to heal and let your voice be heard. Write to heal and let your voice be heard. So as I started writing for myself, because I also had a story, I realized like, oh my God, I wrote a whole book in 30 days. And it was my first real book, like my first book. I did a collaboration for a book, an anthology that I got published in 2015. But my book, I wrote it. I actually published it in 2017. The one, I mean, there was so many things that have happened. Um, but when I started writing, it took me 30 days. And I just vented. I used the book to vent. I had no intention initially of actually publishing that book. It was just, I needed to write, to let out the emotions that were inside of me that I felt were holding me back and were hurting me emotionally, physically. So when and this was the key, and I think you realized it too. One thing is to write. Another thing is to go back and read what you wrote. Remember when I told you to read your book,
Yeah.
you know? And you were like, oh my God, this stuff is, some of this stuff is really powerful. Some of this stuff, like made me choke up a little bit. Remember you would tell me? And but when I started reading what I wrote, what I realized was that I was miserable. I realized that I was so unhappy and I just hated my life. I hated where I was. I hated, um, I felt disappointed in myself. And I'm the type of person that I make things happen. So when that to me was like, like, have you heard of like the big aha moment?
Hmm.
That was a big eye opener, a big aha moment. So when I realized how nothing that I was living was what I wanted in my life. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing, you know? Um, I was in an unhappy marriage. I hated my career. My bank account didn't have a comma after the zeros, you know. Things were just not where it needed to be. And I said, I'm going to change. And so it all started with a decision. And when I started making those decisions and started making, difficult decisions as to what my life was going to be like, many things happened. Many things happened. I did go through a divorce. I lost my home. I quit that career, which I hated. Everything just started crumbling. Okay. Because of the decision that I made to change my life. But what I realized as things were crumbling on one end, I was feeling amazing in another. Because that may sound crazy, but to me I was letting go of all the ugly. I was letting go of all the negativity. I was being intentional in changing my life and writing the chapter of my life, the next chapter. And when I did that, I went through a lot, but when I did that, it's like all of a sudden I start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as it is. It wasn't easy, but it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I started doing workshops for women. I started speaking engagements. I started traveling. One of my biggest and proudest moments is I went to Mexico and with a business partner of the time at the time, and we hosted an event for a week. We were guest speakers for the University of Guanajuato, and we worked with about 100 students. And while we're doing that, all of the ugliness is still happening behind the scenes. And I kept pushing myself and pushing myself and pushing myself. So the writing started a domino effect, but at the same time, it started my healing. So that's why I incorporated the message of write to heal and let your voice be heard. So then, as I am healing from everything that's happening and that has happened in my past, that's when I started using my voice, sharing my story, talking to others, and inspiring others. And when I wrote one of my books, I'll never forget, there was one lady that said to me, I could not stop crying the entire time I read your book because it resonated so much with her. I had another one tell me, I never realized what you had been through. It just really made me realize that my life is not as bad. And if you can do it, so can I, type thing. So it started changing. So the more stories I kept hearing, the more motivated I felt. Another story was of a lady that said, I just finished reading your book and you saved my life. And she meant that because she was dying. She was dying emotionally. So that one was a very powerful one. When she told me that, I'm like, you know what? There's something here. So I wanted to keep writing. So I kept writing. So in 1 year, I did 3 books. And then, so I wrote one before the 3. So now I have 4 books. And then I was invited to do another book with another anthology with another group of ladies. So writing has been amazing for me. It's been a great experience. But along the way, I've been now helping other authors and helping them. And what I've seen is the transformation that they have made. Your story, it was positive. It was a lot of love in that story. You shared some deep moments that were also sad. But that was your truth. And it was beautiful. And you've been speaking nonstop about it. You've been all over, you've been sharing it, which to me, it makes me so happy because it's about letting your voice be heard. It's let me share my truth. Let me share my story. If I'm able to share that and inspire someone, oh my God, I feel amazing. And so here I am, including Dr. Maribel Lopez. When I worked with her, without giving the details of her story, she couldn't get through any session at the very beginning without crying. It was not possible for her to get through without crying. And it was very difficult for her. But I held her hand through the process. I call it heart work. I held her hand through the process and I nudged her along until we got to the finish line. And that woman is unstoppable now. She just had her retreat, her first retreat, and it was incredible. It was, like I had like about 100 women that were there as she shared her story. I mean, she even went to Puerto Rico to the largest library also to promote her book. So I mean, she's all over the place now with her story, sharing her story. But she's not the only one. I have, many of the authors to choose from. I've probably written it helped out maybe 40, 45 authors since I started back in 2018. Their stories have freed them. Putting them on paper has been a miracle for them. So that's why I love what I do with the publishing, because I have firsthand experienced the transformations that now the authors are experiencing.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful, doctor. For real,
It's so cute.
for real. I gotta be honest. It's just so amazing to see you how, you know, like hearing your story, how it was tough for you, but you got out of that, right? And writing has saved your life, and in a way, I feel like writing's like therapy too. It helps us release our feelings, without punching the wall, without
Right.
making a scene. Writing is a lot healthier. I could say that.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
100% is the best tool that you can have. You've heard of journaling,
right?
people, and see, this is the thing. Some people, they may not want to publish the book, but they still need to write. And that's 100% okay. Write, just write. Write what you're feeling. Don't punch the wall, like you say. Just write what you're feeling. You're going to feel so much better. It's like, okay, and this is kind of like an example that I use with many of my clients, especially when they're going through the trauma, because it's about writing to heal from past trauma. But let's say that you have a grocery list, and it may sound silly. You have a grocery list, and you just write it on a piece of paper because you don't want to forget that grocery list, right? You don't want to forget the eggs. You don't want to forget the bread. You don't want to forget the milk, right? The staples. You don't want to forget that. So you write it down on a piece of paper. And then when you're done and you did your groceries and you got everything that you needed, you throw it away. It's no longer in your head. It's no longer like, oh, shoot, I forgot the eggs. It's no longer bothering you because you followed the list and you threw it away. So that's how I feel in essence when you're writing. You're writing, you're letting it out of your system. You're letting it out, you're taking it out, all the burden, all the weight, because as I wrote, I literally felt like 1,000 pounds were lifted off my shoulders each time, and now it's on a piece of paper and I can choose to do whatever I want with that piece of paper. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to tell your dirty laundry to the world. You don't need to do that. It's about sharing and talking about your feelings and becoming vulnerable and making a difference. That's basically what it means to me. Make a difference with your story. And could you just imagine if everyone around us had joy because they shared their story, they're speaking, they're healed, I mean, this world will be a different place.
That is true. That is true. I need
Yeah.
more joy too, you know. I'm saying? Me pasaste, you can say, pass me a little bit, pass me a little bit.
Yeah. You're that way.
Thank you, let me get it, let me get it. Dolly, real quick, because I know we got like 7 minutes, but
Yeah.
Zoom is about to kick us out. If you could share too about you getting into real estate, because I remember when you called me and you're like, look, Miko, I'm about to do it right now. I said, oh man, for real? You're like, I'm going to real road trip with my son. We're gonna go here, and then I'm gonna get back into real estate. I said, that's amazing. I think you were going to Kentucky, right?
I did go to Kentucky for a wedding. No, so I have a couple businesses. I also have a car wash and detail center. It's Hector's Car Wash and Detail in Carroll Stream here in the Chicagoland area, which I helped my husband. I helped along with my husband to put that business together, and it's been fantastic. But real estate is something that I've been wanting to do since 1994, and I was not able to for many reasons. And I just told my husband a few months back, around March, that come October of this year, that I was going to be stepping back from the car wash because I wanted to focus on real estate. And he's like, really? And at first he panicked because I do so much at the car wash. But then he understood why I really needed to do this. It was, I felt like I've done so much for so many people with Rose Gold Publishing, and I'm not stopping Rose Gold. I'm still going to do it, but I'm going to be even more selective of who I publish. But I'm still going to have Rose Gold. I still have the car wash and detail center. But now my husband is running it, and I'll just go and help him do whatever administrative. But the real estate, this is going to be my baby. This is going to be my new baby, the newborn. In fact, I just placed an offer yesterday on a house. I want to be able to do the fix and flip, but it's not just like I want to fix and flip to make money. I want to fix and flip because I want to deliver a beautiful home to a new family who's going to enjoy it. So I always have my reasons why I do things. I honestly, I want to have fun. I'm like, I love what I do. I love life, unlike before in 2014. I love everything. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful for everything that I have and everything that I've accomplished and everything, including the trials and tribulations that I went through. But the real estate, this is going to be fun. This is me having fun, investing, experiencing, learning. I just came from Idaho. I was there for a week for another training that I did in the real estate market, and I'm all in. I'm 100%. So yeah.
I love it, girl. Look at my girl hustling. I love it.
I gotta do it. Gotta do it.
So real quick, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Dolly, for being on the show, guys. This is the Outlet to Reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching. Y'all know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, the Outlet to Reality. My Snapchat is Take One Pass It, and my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And Dolly, where can my fans find you?
I'm all over. You could go if you wanted to reach me for the publishing company, just go to my website, rosegoldpublishingllc.com. So that would be mainly it. If you're interested in the real estate, just send me a message. I'm at info@integrityhomecapitalllc.com. All right.
Love it.